Good afternoon and welcome to Balancing the Books, Mastering Customer-centric Delivery versus Protecting Your Bottom Line. I'm Katie Searles, Editor of Internet Retailing, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Sarah Ashby, CFO of Mamas and Papas, and Bobby Chulis, Group Managing Director of GFS, for this discussion. Easy question to start then, Sarah. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and Mamas and Papas.
Thanks, Katie. So I'm Sarah. I am the CFO at Mamas and Papas. I've been in the business just over a year now. I also, though, have operations and logistics under my wing. So very pleased to be here today to talk about this important topic. Mamas and Papas, to briefly talk about our business, we are a leading nursery brand, renowned for high quality premium products that span multiple nursery categories such as pushchairs, nursery furniture, baby clothing, equipment, toys, and gifts. We currently have 61 stores in the UK, which are a combination of our own stores, but also concessions within Next and M&S. We have presence in 26 international countries, an e-com platform, and just this week we have launched an app.
Excellent, very exciting. Bobby, give us an overview of GFS.
Hi, Katie. Hi, Sarah. So we started back in 2001 as the UK's first provider of managed multi-carrier parcel services and technology. So you could say we invented the term because back then nobody had even heard of it, although today it's a sort of commonly understood term and very popular. And today we're now the industry's leader in this field.
Excellent, thank you very much. So let's get cracking on this meaty subject. As the title suggests, customer-centric delivery is now key to success for both retailers and e-tailers. To bring in some internet retailing research, 42% of e-commerce shoppers in Europe do so because of direct delivery to their home. That percentage is even higher in the UK. Nearly half, 47% of UK shoppers cite home delivery as the reason to shop online. If we look at the post-purchase experience, a staggering 80% of customers will choose to take their business elsewhere if they've had a negative post-purchase experience, particularly related to delivery issues. So when we talk about the cost of delivery, it has the potential to be huge. Of course, Mamas and Papas will be working to ensure that there's excellent delivery every time and are doing so that with their partnership through GFS. So Bobby, how long have GFS been a delivery partner for Mama and Papas, and how exactly does that partnership work?
So we've been Mamas and Papas multi-carrier delivery partners since 2011. So that's what, going on 14 years now. That means that we provide a single source of for fulfilling all their delivery needs. And this comes, of course, with the high value add of GFS support services, technology, etc. And yeah, it is indeed a partnership, as you said, because it's not just about providing services. We've developed a very deep understanding of Mamas and Papas business over the years, and hopefully we've been able to demonstrate our deep knowledge and commitment, but most importantly of all, we've earned their trust.
And that's such an important word, development, when it comes to a partnership like this. Sarah, how has that partnership developed or evolved over nearly 15 years?
So look, Bobby is absolutely right. GFS is a key partner of ours and has really supported the business over the years that we've been working together. Probably three areas where we see the support come through. So firstly, growth. We have significantly expanded our delivery options for our customers to give greater choice, to give convenience, to suit lifestyles and needs. As an example, in the last 12 months, we've added premium delivery options where customers can specifically specify the date and the place of delivery, as well as using parcel shops. So great that GFS have supported us in growing options. They also have helped us manage risk. So we've been migrated away from carriers who are maybe having their own business or capacity issues. And that has protected Mamas and Papas as a result and our customers. And also GFS have really helped in terms of flexibility, the third area. So GFS technology has enabled us to adopt a flexible delivery approach tailored to product size, urgency, customer expectations. For instance, we adjust delivery times based on product type. A customer may not want to receive a pushchair next day delivery. They may not need to, but smaller essential items such as baby clothing, some equipment lines, customers will want those products and those parcels faster. And using GFS technology, we've been able to meet those needs.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sarah. And we will come on to technology in a bit, but we'll stick with you now for the sort of cost element and saving money without compromising. How have you been able to do that without really affecting the customer delivery experience and the quality of that experience?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, the number one priority is the customer, and we don't want to let customers down. However, managing the purse strings and making sure that we are saving money is also one of my very important areas that I focus on day in, day out. So there is the balance. I'll give you a few examples of where we feel we have made great progress in these areas. So GFS, first and foremost, their buying power versus mamas and papas individually negotiating with carriers has meant we can access much more competitive rates. So we get the best costs and carrier fit while offering customers a greater choice of delivery options, which would have been, I guess, possible for mamas and papas, but much more difficult without the support of GFS. GFS are experts in this area, as Bobby mentioned, and I personally am a big fan of using subject matter experts to support on negotiations. The other thing that we have managed to do is leverage GFS's network. We can switch carriers flexibly during peak or kind of key trading periods to recover from any unexpected issues. This protects service quality, but also reliability for our customers. Mamas and papas as well, over the years, we've worked really hard to identify the product type and the product SKUs that best fit some carriers, depending on that carrier's profile. For example, this year, we've actually migrated 10% of our volume from one carrier to another to take a commercial benefit, or with GFS's support to do that. And then a couple more examples. GFS have set up a number of drop shippers for us over the last 2 years to offer set rates and utilizing existing enterprise integration and carrier management, which has been a real success for us. And look, all of this great work that we're doing together gets checked, critiqued in our monthly business reviews with GFS, and we review spend by carrier, carrier mix, volume trends to see where we can get greater efficiencies and better service for the customer.
Thanks so much, Sarah. Coming on to your expertise then, Bobby, how has GFS helped M&P get maximum bang for their bucks and make sure that the delivery spend is right whilst potentially keeping those costs down?
I think Sarah's already mentioned a lot of the areas where we can help achieve direct cost savings through GFS buying power, etc. But this is just the tip of the iceberg, because underneath that, there are a lot of indirect cost savings that we give to that all our customers get from GFS when they buy our services, the technology that comes with it, operational support, advice and consultation from their account manager, and the vital support of our customer services team that are there as a second line support to their own customer services team. These are all high value benefits that they gain from us that if they didn't come as part of the GFS service would cost them, if they needed to fund those resources internally themselves. I mean, why ask me? We've got Sarah here, the CFO, as mamas and papas. Sarah, would you agree with that? Is there anything else that you would add to that?
No, I totally agree with that, Bobby. And I think it's really important to reflect on hidden costs, indirect costs. And you touched on a couple there. Ultimately, I would have to employ more people, have a bigger overhead cost base to be able to get the results that we get through GFS if I did it myself. And I don't even think it would even end up with the same result anyway. So it absolutely does save us from an operating cost point of view with those extra hidden costs that you mentioned.
Brilliant, thank you. So sticking with you, Sarah, then, how does Mama and Papa's monetize delivery to offset costs that would affect their bottom line?
So at Mamas and Papas, we do offer a variety of delivery choices. So some examples are we have standard delivery, we have next day, Saturday delivery, and click and collect. Mamas and Papas does monetize most of the services, but standard delivery is free for orders above £50. So anything when a customer has a transaction of above £50, delivery is for free. Some of our parcels are small and might be below that threshold, but others, as an example, might be £1,000, £2,000 orders that may require a two-man delivery, i.e. some of our furniture sets. So we have to really balance between free and paid delivery, ensuring that delivery costs are offset by strategic pricing to the customer. The other thing I would say on this topic is customer care. So customers calling our customer care team to chase up orders, that is a cost to Mamas and Papas. And we actually find that we can reduce the number of calls using GFS because they help us give clear customer communication via email, text, tracking data, allowing the customer to self-serve and therefore reducing the number of calls to my customer care team.
No one wants to be dealing with where is my order calls, and of
no
course
one wants an angry pregnant customer. That is what I will
oh
say.
wow, yeah. No. And obviously that customer care is really important when it's such an emotional time for a shopper. There's going to be a lot of sort of feelings around the purchases that are happening with Mamas and Papas. And it might be an interesting balance, this next question then, because technology is advancing to boost operational efficiency, to make things better. You've mentioned data there. There is lots of sort of data-driven decisions being made now with technology helping that. But you will want to still provide a very personal customer experience because of the type of product you sell. How does technology fit into your operations then to make it streamlined but not take away that human impact?
It's a really, really important topic and really interesting for us as a business, and probably, like you say, quite unique to Mamas and Papas. In terms of technology, facing the customer, people first, technology in our business is not, I would say, as important because it is a very, very personal shopping experience. A customer comes into our store and they want to talk to someone, they want to share in that joy. And sometimes, sadly, there are very difficult conversations on the topic of babies too. So having the human element is really, really important at that kind of customer conversation. However, technology behind the scenes, in order to give the customers exactly what they need and meet their expectations, absolutely is so important to support essentially those operational processes. So we use GFS multi-carrier shipping software to manage the end-to-end process. So the customer doesn't necessarily see this, but it really does help the proposition to them. So GFS we have in our checkout. This manages delivery options at the checkout for the customer. They can choose some of those examples I gave earlier. We use GFS Selector for multi-carrier labeling and dispatch to make sure that is as slick as possible. Our customer care team, who I've mentioned, they use GFS Seeker to track and trace parcels. And across all of this sits analytics and reporting to measure, review, and analyze performance across those services and the carriers. So the technology that I've mentioned comes as part of the service with GFS, and it enables us to increase operational efficiency, reduce costs, and have a greater visibility control over that carrier performance.
So it's true to say that Mamas and Papas doesn't follow a traditional model then of working directly with multiple carriers to source the services you need. Instead, you've chosen to work with a single multi-carrier partner, in this case GFS. Sarah, what has been the main advantages of doing it this way?
To put it in a nutshell, having a single multi-carrier partner like GFS takes away the complexity, the cost, and the risk out of having a multi-carrier strategy. It gives us the flexibility and the agility to switch on new services as well without the lengthy IT integration. And Bobby talked a bit about those hidden costs on IT. I don't incur those firsthand. It's indirectly through GFS, and it makes those costs a lot lower. For us, actually, in terms of switching on new services and the flexibility, it was particularly important over Black Friday this year. As DHL, as an example, they were at capacity, and we were able, using GFS's support, to switch on DPD UK to fulfill extra demand during that time period. We've already talked about some of the tangible, obvious benefits of GFS buying power, but this support, technology, expertise, which comes as part of the service, is a huge value add and indirect cost saving to our business. Like I mentioned, really does help us reduce overheads, manage risk, all while giving customers the delivery experience they expect and demand from Mamas and Papas. It's what helps us balance the books between the customer delivery experience and that bottom line cost.
Customer demands, that's such a good point to make. The expectations of consumers has changed over the past few years. There's now this common perception that customers won't pay for delivery, but they still want it fast. There's a fast and free sort of approach for the consumer's point of view anyway. Bobby, what's your view on that fast and free consumer demand?
I'm going to get on my soapbox now, because it's something that, it's a false expectation that the industry has created of free delivery due to fast fashion retailers like ASOS. And so we've really created a rod for our own back. And, contrary to this, research by Retail Economics, by IMRG over the last 5 years repeatedly tells us that what consumers want above all else is delivery, choice, and convenience, and that they're willing to pay for it. Because let's face it, we're busy shoppers. We have different lifestyles. Circumstances change. They're unpredictable. You need to have that choice and convenience. You can pick what's right for you at that moment in time. It's not only about fast and free. Fast and free has its place. It should be part of the mix of options that you offer to customers, alongside things like Sarah said, nominated day, nominated time, being able to pick a date in 3 months' time for when your cot needs to be delivered, right? Things like that. Or weekend deliveries, parcel shops, parcel lockers, click and collect, the whole breadth of options, so that depending on your circumstances at that point in time, you're able to satisfy what that consumer needs. So as an example, let's say it's my mother's birthday tomorrow, and quite typically I've forgotten it's her birthday, so I'm desperately trying to find something online. I get to the delivery options page, and I don't care at that point about fast and free. What I'm looking for is a nominated time service. That means that I can specify it has to be delivered before 10 a.m. tomorrow, which is when she leaves for work. So this whole myth around they want fast and free, no, they want delivery, choice, and convenience. And you mentioned yourself earlier, Katie, that 1 in 2 customers, if they've had a post-purchase negative delivery experience, they're not going to come back and buy from you again. Well, actually, the issue happens a lot earlier than that. When customers come to the delivery options page, again, the research shows us that when Retail Economics put the question to more than 2,000 UK consumers, 1 in 4 said they have abandoned baskets because when they got to that page, they didn't see the delivery option that they wanted. So hopefully that puts that whole myth to bed.
Thank you very much. And do you want to add anything, Sarah, from a retailer point of view? What does Mama and Papas think of fast and free?
I mean, look, Mamas and Papas is not an ASOS, a fast fashion. We're not grocery retailer. People are not expecting something to be delivered on the same day. We sell premium nursery products, often on a lead time. So there is less of a need and demand, I'd argue, from our customers to deliver parcels fast and free. So a bit like Bobby was saying, we will strategically use free delivery as an incentive, which is based on a minimum basket spend rather than a default expectation. Customers absolutely have diverse needs and circumstances which change all the time. So for us, it's more important to offer that choice of delivery options, like Bobby says, which does include an element of fast and free, so that ultimately the customer can find an option that suits them. People are pregnant for 9 months. They have a lot of time to think and plan about their purchase. So for us as a business, we firmly believe that giving customers the widest choice of delivery options at checkout is what is at the heart of customer-centric delivery.
Because your customers do have that lengthy buying period, how does sort of the golden quarter or the peak period that a lot of retailers have just come through, how does that impact you? Are you doing a sort of operational review of peak? Do you still see that, or is it at different times of the year? Is it more spread out?
We are, as a business, less seasonal than others, for sure. Babies are born all year round, so there is demand all year round. However, I would say don't be fooled by that kind of cyclical nature of birth, because pregnant, expectant mothers are still very savvy about deals, and it is still very important to be competitive in the market. Also, for us as a business, we have a large amount of business in gifting. Clearly, Christmas presents for newborn babies, for young babies, really quite a big part of our strategy and our range. But we, for the peak period and Black Friday, our retail sales were actually up 8% in the 12 weeks to the end of December. So very proud to say we had another record-breaking Black Friday and peak trading period. We also achieved our highest ever UK market share in November. So very, very proud of the business and the team for that result. There was, however, a hairy moment. So we as a business were mulling over Black Friday options, I remember in the boardroom, and we decided as a team to pull forward some of the campaigns and the discounting. And that threw my head of logistics, his head was in a spin. But it was the right commercial decision to make. It was at very short notice, and we knew that the carriers had in place already full capacity. GFS, however, were amazing, and I can honestly say were able to help us find additional capacity with other carrier partners and switch volumes quickly and easily. You know, we at a certain point weren't sure whether we'd be able to get enough trailers to get the product out the door. And the orders out the door. So I have to say a big thank you to you, GFS, for flexing to give us as much capacity as was possible to service this demand and achieve the wonderful results we did as a business.
It's what we do best.
A massive congratulations on huge congratulations for your brilliant Black Friday, even with those hairy moments. It's interesting, maybe coming to you here, Bobby. Retailers will be looking to make the most of peak periods and therefore moving things around. It is no longer just one day in late November. For a business like yours that's dealing with a host of retailers that are maybe doing fast fashion, luxury, different things, how can you prepare for a peak period when it's not linear anymore?
Well, you said the magic word there, prepare. It's all about planning and forecasting. And for some of our customers, it's literally a 9-month long cycle. So for example, with hampers, which is the UK's largest privately owned hamper business, gifting hamper business, that 73% of their sales volumes go through the tills during 3 weeks of December. So you can imagine how huge their peak is and how much is riding on that, you know, if things don't go the way they expect it to go. So it's all about planning, forecasting. Actually, as soon as you come out of peak, have a peak wash up, understand what worked well, what didn't work well, identify the changes and gaps that you need to address. Then you put your robust plans and forecasts together in terms of what capacity you need, like Sarah said. And most importantly of all, make sure you've got a plan B and contingency when things happen, because no matter how much you plan, there will always be something that comes up, and you need to be able to trust that your delivery partner has got your back.
We've seen that time and time again. It does seem for many retailers that it is just one unexpected problem after the other. And there will be those coming out of this peak who are already looking ahead to November, so they're ready. For a nice sort of wrap up, Bobby, is there anything for 2025 that you think should be a real focus? Is there any key trends that you're looking at in this delivery space to make sure the retailers you work with are protecting their bottom line?
I don't think, there's always going to be trends, but the principles remain the same and they are timeless, which is, like we've said, as Sarah said it herself, at the heart of customer-centric delivery. It's about giving customers that choice of delivery, convenience, and reliability and consistency of service, because you want to convert them at the checkout, but you also want them to have a great delivery experience every time, so they come back and buy more from you.
And Sarah, you touched on it briefly in your introduction to this. Mamas and Papas have now launched an app. Is that your big focus for going forward?
It absolutely is one of our big focuses going forward. We're really excited to see what the results of the app will bring. Certainly commerce, a big one, and hoping to get some new customers, new transactions out of it, but also community is a really important part of it. So we're providing lots of really lovely content for new and expectant mothers to read, to digest in those kind of 3 a.m. moments, those lonely feeding moments. So it's a lot about content and community as well as commerce. So yeah, very exciting part of our strategy in 2025.
Thank you very much to both of you for your insight today and providing a real working example of how to protect your bottom line and also the full delivery experience. For more information, you can use this QR code to visit GFS directly. But just once more, a massive thank you to you, Bobby, and to Sarah, and to our viewers, thank you for watching.